If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
The question, are introverts more prone to loneliness and anxiety? Answer by Shaswati Mitra, speaking as a person who got a ESFP as her Carly personality type and is characterized as an extrovert by everyone she knows. I can, with utmost certainty, say that extroverts are equally prone to anxiety and loneliness as are introverts. The adage that one can be lonely even amongst a crowd of people has a lot of merit. Speaking from personal experience, it's very easy for me to strike a conversation and carry it forward with a total stranger, but to actually connect with a person, find that same level of crazy and like-mindedness is very difficult and rare. Loneliness can often creep in, and especially to a person who feels the need to be in social situations, loneliness can be even more devastating. So knowing people is a skill that depends on the person, irrespective of their personality type. And coming to anxiety from a personal perspective, there's a side effect to being an extrovert, which is the need to be in the center of a conversation or a crowd and the need to be liked. Needless to say, both these qualities can be extremely harmful to one's own personal development and can bring in plenty insecurities and accompanying anxieties. I hope this helps. Answer by Kirsten Brown. The show starts with some discussion of the stigma of loneliness. We tend to blame the lonely for their loneliness, attributing it to some sort of personal failing. We assume the person isn't trying hard enough, or has unlikable qualities. Ref from Lonely to Social Life in 27 Days. Even noticed this when I went back and looked at my diaries. I was struck during my lonely years at how often I retreated from social interaction, she said. People would ask me out for dinner and I would say no. People would ask me out for drinks after work and I would say no. Social interactions began to make me anxious, and that was the case even though I desperately needed more sociability in my life. And I couldn't make sense of this paradox and I started blaming myself for it. And when you're lonely, you can start to feel as though you don't have what you need to bring to social situations. You don't feel safe in those situations. So you start to retreat, and the more you do that, the lonelier you become, and it becomes this vicious circle that you can't get out of. This event will benefit WordSpace, a local literary nonprofit that supports edgy poets, writers, and literati who adore creative language. WordSpace events have ranged from Austin's Hancock Brothers to Dan Savage. And carry this number with you, 10,877,611. Anything you buy at the Barnes & Noble, Lincoln Park store will benefit WordSpace from December 6 through December 12, 2012. So even if you can't make the reading, if you use this code for holiday book shopping that week, you'll be giving twice. I will occasionally turn down social engagements and then wonder why I did that when I'm looking for something to do. But it usually happens that I'm not in a social mood when asked and then get in that mood before the event. I do enjoy socialization when everything with my mood lines up right. Sometimes I wish that happened more, but sometimes I'm glad it doesn't. I find I'm more often seeking alone time than I am seeking socialization. I do see how a bias towards solitary activities could lead to loneliness, but I don't think that just being an introvert makes one susceptible. I believe there are other factors. I don't mind being around groups of people. I just prefer non-alcoholic settings, or more refined, where you can actually hear each other talk and where you don't need to get pumped up before socializing. A lot of extroverts will even pre-drink before they get into a bar. I think an event or social gathering that involves drinking a lot of alcohol/beers is what can turn off introverts from these types of social settings. Many Asians, up to half, are unable to drink alcohol. Their bodies do not process alcohol well, so their faces and skin, even eyes, become flush red. An unbearable feeling. People who drink and get plastered are not a pretty sight. I pity these fools. How is this fun? These people stumble around and need help standing up. They're half-conscious. They throw up. They fall down. They're incoherent. They're dependent on people to get them home safely. It's like taking care of a big baby. Glad they're someone else's baby. LOL. I once was at a friend's birthday party, 25. Her boyfriend was there and it was a large group. We were in a bar, frequented by a lot of university students. It wasn't a place where you dined. People don't order food there. They just drink and get drunk. I guess this is people's idea of relaxation and letting it loose. Answer by Dushka Zapata. Have you ever felt completely alone in a room full of people? In a room with all your friends? In a room with the person that you love? I have also felt completely happy in a room with no one in it but me. Loneliness has nothing to do with the presence or the absence of others. It's something else, something inside me, that needs my care and my attention. Have you ever felt anxious without being able to point to something specific making you anxious? I am often anxious because of work, but the times I have removed work from the equation I have come to discover the responsibility is gone but the anxiety is still there. In other words, I have nothing to be anxious about. Why am I still feeling this way? From this I infer loneliness and anxiety are not at all related to how I recharge after social interaction. Instead, both maladies are an intrinsic part of the human condition. They are often difficult to fix because I erroneously assume that both the culprit and the antidote are due to circumstances outside of me.